Welcome to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. This is a sacred space where healing begins, intuition awakens, and your spirit remembers its power. I'm your host, Barbara Savin, author, energy healing specialist, hypnotherapist, and spiritual life coach. For over 35 years, I've guided thousands of souls to protect their energy, trust their intuition, and step into their most empowered self. I invite you to join me for heartfelt conversations, spiritual insights, and gentle practices that nurture your soul and inspire your daily life. And together, we'll explore how to rise above negativity, trust your inner wisdom, and embrace the truth of who you are, a divine, radiant being of love and strength. So take a breath, settle in, and know you are not alone on this journey. You are loved. You are supported, and you are more powerful than you've ever been told. So let's rise together and join me now as your host. Well, welcome to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Savin, and for decades, I've been walking alongside others as an energy healer, intuitive guide, and gentle teacher, helping them remember their inner wisdom and protect their precious energy. And this podcast is a sacred, heart-centered space where we can explore intuition, healing, and soulful living so you can feel supported, aligned, and deeply connected to who you truly are. And today, I'm absolutely so delightful to welcome Ronnie Ann Ryan, an
That's it.
intuitive, that's right, an intuitive guide, a wise woman, best-selling author, and a true breath of fresh air in the spiritual world. Ronnie blends spirituality with joy, fun, and a little magic, reminding us that personal transformation doesn't have to be hard work or an endless self-improvement marathon. And with over 30 years in spiritual development, she uses her powerful intuition and deep connection to spirit to offer insights that are not only profound, but practical, playful, and effective. And known for cutting through cosmic fluff, Ronnie brings grounded spiritual tools that actually work. She's a certified soul intelligence practitioner, Reiki master, and Akashic Records channel. And she has a gift for making spiritual growth feel accessible, uplifting, and even joyful. And Ronnie is also the best-selling author of 6 books and the host of the most popular mystical podcast, Breathe Love and Magic, which ranks in the top 5 globally. And her clients from around the world love her direct, no nonsense style and her ability to help them move forward with clarity, confidence, and with laughter. Oh, I know today's going to be wild. So, welcome to the show. I can sense like I want to laugh, but I'm trying not to.
Oh, no, go for it. We might as well enjoy ourselves. I just
Yeah.
want to say one thing. I'm not really in the top 5. I'm in the top 5%. So I don't want to
Oh,
state my position. So,
thank you. Actually, I see 5%, but for some reason I didn't see
I-
that
you
making
know,
you even better.
it works for me. If you think I'm in the top 5, beautiful.
There you go. Oh, wow. So, I've been looking at your website and everything. You believe that transformation happens through joy and possibility, not struggle. So, how did you come to this philosophy? And I want to ask you, how has it changed your own life?
Okay, that's a pretty awesome question. So it came from personal experience and also from working with clients. And what I found, I can struggle with the best of them, trust me. And I'm not going to tell you I have no struggles because that'd just be silly to say. But I have noticed times when I just decided that I wasn't going to struggle, or it was going to be this, it was going to be a certain way. This is what was going to happen. And it worked. So that's my goal, is to, when I can, when it's possible, I want to find the easy way, the fun way, the light way, rather than digging, like what happened when you were 3 and 5, or what were your parents like. I don't do any of that unless it really comes up. It's not, there's nothing wrong with that either. That's a perfectly productive pathway for development and stuff. It's just not my way.
Hmm.
You
So
know,
now,
there's a yeah, there's a lot of juice there. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but it's not what I want to focus on.
so you have 30 years of, that you've been doing this spiritual development. How actually has your intuition evolved over time, and what actually helped you you know, uh, trust more deeply?
Oh wow. So I have been at this for a while now. And as you yourself have. And I can tell you that it took a lot of practice for me initially. The energy of the world was really different in the 80s when I started on my spiritual journey. And then I took Reiki 1. And at the end of the 21-day period where they say there's an alignment that comes or whatever from the initiation, then I started to channel. So I had been working on my intuition for a long time, and it had been hard work. And then after that 21-day period with Reiki 1, I definitely had a new level available to me. And that's when I started to channel spirit and stuff. I don't spend that much time channeling with my eyes closed and that kind of thing anymore. I don't really need to. It can just come through me. And I don't really worry about who I'm talking to because I know it's all light and spirit. So, what helped me trust? That was your question. Okay, you're going to laugh at this. So, back in the old days, I had a friend who decided she was going to promote psychic fairs. And so, of course, I was her friend and she wanted me to go. And I wasn't doing psychic readings. And I still don't call myself a psychic, I call myself intuitive. But I was doing past life readings. That's what I did at the fair. And one night she said to me, "Oh my gosh, it's going to be huge tonight. I just know it. And I'm too psychic." I'm like, "What? No, no way. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes." So she goes, "Yes. And I'm going to fill up your timesheet." No, don't do so. If you have 22, there's 24 spots in the evening, and you have 22 people who sit at your table and paid for 15 minutes. You don't have time to question anything. You
Mm-mm.
just have to spit it out. And so that was my from the frying pan into the fire moment
Wow,
where
that was some fire.
oh,
Yeah.
it was brutal. I had no choice but to just get it, hear it, deliver it, trust, and just keep moving. I mean, there was no time to run to the ladies' room. You know what I'm saying? It just was one person after another. And doing that many readings in a row, uh, kind of got me over a hurdle. So I still believe in that philosophy. If you need to do something that you're uncomfortable with, go run out and do it a whole bunch of times. Because, after the fifth or sixth time, you'll be like, I did this already. And you'll start to calm down. Or even after the second or third time, you don't know. I mean, who knows what level will take you to help start to relax or whatever. But I think it works. It still works. I have still done it. I've done it. I did it recently again with something else. So, it's one way to go. But that definitely helped me trust because my readings were landing with people. So I had feedback too, which of course was tremendously helpful.
And you had to do it quick. You
Yeah, no
had
messing around.
no messing around, no time to think.
No.
Yeah, it's amazing how when that happens. It's funny because when I worked at the Four Seasons Hotel, and I was doing energy healing,
Oh, wow.
they would put me on every hour on the hour, another session. And from back east when I worked there, I had like 90 minutes. I was able to take my time. Now there, it was like, yeah, 50 minutes to do your session, 10 minutes to clean up the room and go get the next person. And yeah, I can understand that all of a sudden, then things change. Your energy becomes quick. You can have, it's hard to explain, but I understand where you're coming from because I know for me, I didn't even have time to think. All I had time was to call in the energy for that person and then
Right.
do the session and then get them off the table. And it does, you have to trust what you're
Have to.
feeling
Yeah,
and just
absolutely.
go for it.
Yeah. There's no other way when you're in that kind of time crunch. You just have to roll. You have no choice. There's no like, was that right? And I don't know. And should I do it? You don't have time. There's no thinking.
No
There's
thinking.
just doing the work, right?
Yeah. And I always say, never doubt it because it's there for us, whether we feel it or don't feel it, it does come in. And if we doubt it, then that's when I feel we get all sort of messed up.
I agree. I agree
So
for sure.
you were known, you're known for your cutting through, as you mentioned, the
Cosmic fluff.
cosmic fluff. I love that. What's one spiritual misconception that you love to lovingly debunk?
Oh my gosh, that's quite a
Or you can
question.
name more than one.
Yeah. Well, you know, um, all right. So some people love astrology, and astrology has many good qualities. But when I was younger, I really wanted to get married, and I went to see two different astrologers, and they said, I don't see it. You're very independent, blah, blah, blah. I don't see it, you know? And so I was devastated. What do you mean you don't see it? Like, I really wanted to get married. So I decided this is one of those decided things.
Mhm.
I decided I wasn't putting up with that. And
Good
I
for
didn't
you.
believe in it. And that wasn't going to happen to me. And it was my life. And they weren't going to tell me what I could have or not have or whatever. So it was at a time when there were no dating coaches, and even online dating wasn't quite popular yet. It was just at the brink. And so I put myself on a little program, and I used manifesting because, the Esther Hicks was, I think, back then maybe. And
Mhm.
there was a lot of manifesting stuff back then. So I did everything you could think of. I did manifesting. I did um, acupuncture to keep my energy moving. I sang little songs that I made up. I everything you can think of and more. I turned to every rock. I left nothing undone. Everything I could think of. And so I dated a lot, and I did meet the man I've been married to for 25 very happy years. I'm so amazingly lucky. And so that's a debunk thing. Like, I'm not good with anything that puts limits on me. And perhaps it was just the way the readings were done or how my stars lined up or whatever. But it just goes to show you, I don't care what anyone says no about. If you want it, try it, go for it. What's the
Go
worst
for
that
it.
can happen? You don't get it, you didn't have it anyway. So, I don't know. I'm very big on that. So that's one of my debunking things. It's also like human design. People love human design, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. It's just not for me, because don't put me in one of your four boxes. I'm not going to belong there. So I don't, I never liked any of that Myers-Briggs stuff or whatever. And so that's a debunking thing. I'm not saying that those disciplines, they are no good. I would never say that, because everybody's different. They just weren't good for me.
Yeah, I understand that. It's funny they're talking about debunking situation. When I was, I think, 12 years old, I had a very serious accident, and the doctor said I would never have children,
Oh,
and it just didn't sit right with me. And then of course I got married when I was 20 years old. I'm married now. It'll be 57 years in
whew.
June. Very long time. And we then were trying and it just wasn't happening. But then 5 years later, I kept on saying, I will get pregnant. I will have a child. What they told me, I'm just going to let go of. And I ended up having two children, a son and a
See?
daughter.
This
So
is
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Don't let anyone tell you no. If you feel
Mhm.
it, try it. Go for
Tried.
it. See what happens. You really have not much to lose to try it and go for it. So that's how I feel about limitation. I'm not telling you I think everything is available to me. There are some places I still feel limited, but not in those places. And so The other thing that bothers me is there are a lot of, we'll call them people who do monthly energy readings or energy readings for the year. And, they're different kind of psychics or astrologers or whatever. And they act all spiritual and bubbly and happy. And then they tell you all this negative crap. And I find that so distressing because it will get more eyeballs.
Hmm.
When people feel anxious, they want to know more because they want to feel more certain or whatever. And so it does get viewership. And maybe that's not their intention. Maybe they really feel those bad things will happen. But I think if you know anything about manifesting, why would you talk about bad things that haven't happened yet?
Hmm.
I know some people believe that it's important to know. And I think,
Wow.
what? I don't tell it to me because I don't need to know that. If it happens, I'll deal with it. And until then, mum's the word. I don't want to hear it. So that's just who I am. It doesn't, some people love that stuff and that's good for them. But to me, that's the debunking that I do. It's that I just think the cosmic fluff to me is things that go on and on and on. But what do you do with that? I want to be practical. I don't care which star I'm from, and I've had different readings and I've been told different stars. So I don't really know because I don't know what to do with that on earth. I
Hmm.
mean, it's interesting. So I'm just very practical and I want to focus on what's going to move me forward or make me happy. Those are my two things.
I, yeah, 100%. I feel the same way.
Oh, we could
Yeah.
be sisters.
Well, yeah, I say just live in the moment because we don't know what the next moment's going to bring. Just
Right.
to do what you can today and be happy and think positive thoughts, do positive affirmations. Don't get yourself in that spiral of, that merry-go-round of constantly the negative thinking and stuff because it'll drive you crazy. And then the choice that you're making for yourself is that you're not going to change in any way, if
It's,
you stay stuck.
there's so much now coming up from the neuroscience
Hmm.
that is very exciting and positive because what they're doing is proving by looking at the brain and seeing how it works all the things that many spiritual people and manifestors have been saying
Saying for
for
years.
eons, not
Hmm.
10 or 20 years, thousands of years,
Thousands. Hmm.
right? And to me, that's the most exciting thing. And to me, that's proving that magic is real, right? Because they one of the things they're saying now is record your affirmations and listen to yourself say them, and that's really powerful for your self-conscious mind. I love that. How easy is that? Anybody can do that on their phone, right? And now they prove that it's positive and it's possible and it's effective. I heard that stuff 30 years ago, but now we have proof that it works. That's so exciting.
Oh, it is. My grandma, I mean, I was born in 1948, and in the 50s and 60s, that's what she would tell me all the time. Think positive. And when I would tell my friends, oh, we should think positive and not think about what if could have, should have, would have happened. Just feel, they would look at me, oh my, you're so woo-woo, you're so crazy, you're so this. No, no, no. Back then we knew better, but it was to everybody else, it was witchy and woo-woo and you're crazy making, but it was the truth. And now people are seeing how real that was. It's no more just the new age stuff.
Yes,
It's
that's
what
right.
life is all about.
I know. And that to me is exciting and fun and empowering. And that's what I want. And that's what I want to share with people.
So let me ask you, so so many, I mean, a lot of even my own clients feel that spirituality has to be like serious or heavy. But in actuality, it could be fun, like you mentioned, laughter, and lightness. How do you help them get over all that hurdles?
It's sort of on a case by case basis, depending on what is making them feel that heaviness or whatever. But what I would do is encourage them to talk to me about what makes you smile, what makes you laugh, what is fun for you, what can you do on your own to lift your spirits? And then do some of that. You know, I had a friend who lived to be 94. I just loved her. And I said to her, this is probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I said, Esther, what's the key to your happiness? 94 years is a long time. What's the key to your happiness? And she said, whatever you like, do more of that. And I was like, really? That's the entire extent of your advice for me? She goes, yep.
She had a beautiful outlook on life. I have grandchildren that are in their 20s, and one day we went to the park, and my granddaughter says to me, "Oh, Grandma, let me see you go on the swing. I dare you to go on the swing." I said, "Oh, don't dare me. I'll do it." Because that was when I started swinging, and she took a video. She was I could see her laugh. I could feel her laugh because the camera's going up and down, and to her it was like, my grandma's crazy. But to me, for that 5 minutes or so, I felt like a child again. I felt, like you mentioned, fun, and I was laughing and she was laughing. And it was a beautiful feeling. And I feel many of us are forgetting about that.
Well, I agree. And I can tell you, uh, let's see, 12 years ago, I started getting a message. I have a friend, and she and I do a lot of intuitive work together. We get together, we eat sushi, and then we talk about problems to find solutions intuitively. This is what about the world, about us. And so we got together and we were talking about the world and the way things were 12 years ago. And we started getting a message that we still get today, which is focus on joy. Do what makes you happy. It was a nonstop. And every time we're unhappy, we don't like the way things are politically, blah, 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 whatever it is, they say the same thing, you know, go find something that makes you happy. Go make sure you enjoy yourself because that's what you're here for. And somehow we forgot that,
Yeah.
there's, when you think about how things were more in ancient times, there were a lot of festivals where people celebrated,
Hmm.
you know, and that's for a reason because singing and dancing are really good for you.
Yes.
Almost all of the religious and spiritual practices have some kind of way to use the voice, singing, chanting, oming, whatever it is that creates a vibration in your body and raises your frequency. And dancing and movement does the same thing. So there's so much available to us. And we don't necessarily think of that as spiritual, but so much of life really is spiritual or magical. And
Mhm.
it's up to you. It's your viewpoint. It's how you see it. It's how you use it. You
Oh,
know,
now, unfortunately, with all this social media, I think that's the downfall of a lot of it
I know
because
I'd
it's
love
just
to see all that
negative.
go bye bye, but it is
Yeah,
what it is.
I know people are making a lot of money on it, and it's funny because I put a lot of positive on mine, and I said,
Yeah.
"Wow, I just can't get followers. I guess I don't like positive stuff." It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy,
I'm
but
not
yeah,
sure how it works. That's one thing that I must admit did skip me by. I don't have a big following on social media, but that's all right.
yeah.
I make the impact that I make, and I'm happy to share what I have with whoever is open to seeing it.
Well, that's how I feel. If it just touches one person, then I'm happy because then hopefully that person will share that joy and happiness with someone else.
Yes. Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's yeah, people have forgotten what this is all about, what life is all about, I feel.
Yeah. Well, that's why I talk about magic a lot because there's so many little things you can do. Let me tell you a couple. Is that okay?
Mhm. Oh, yes.
Oh, wonderful. So, and these are things you're going to be like, I know that. I know that. I'm like, I know you know, but let's get to them. So, I had an epiphany last year that was if you want more magic in your life, Ronnie, guess what? You have to do more magic. Hello. Like, I don't know what, sometimes you forget to do stuff. So, one of the things I do is hold my teacup in the morning and send love and good health and happiness and joy, prosperity, whatever I want into the cup, and then I drink it, right? Now you're drinking and taking in that vibration. So you're going to say, that's not magic. That's, I don't care. That's my kind of magic, you know?
It's
And, and then, I heard this podcast and this woman told everybody how she wrote love letters to herself. And I'm like, I don't have time to write a whole letter, but I could write a note. So I call it love notes. And so every morning I write a few things that I'm grateful for and a few reasons why I love myself. So this doesn't have to take a long time. It could be 5 minutes for both of those things and my cup. And so that's me doing simple magic. It's very, very simple. And my favorite one, I'll give my favorite one away, is you take a sugar bowl. Of course, it has to have sugar in it. Then people say to me, I don't eat sugar. I'm like, you don't have to eat the sugar, so calm down. And then you get a spoon. And so I use the sugar in my tea in the morning, but you don't have to use the sugar at all. So I stir in what I want. So you could say, please sweeten up my relationship so we can find joy together. Or please sweeten up my paycheck so I can buy a new home. Or whatever it is you're stirring into the sugar, the sweetness, whatever you want that to be. That is my favorite thing. It's so silly and simple. It could take a minute, but it's an intention and an action and a movement, right?
Yes. Wow, that's a
And
great
people,
idea.
yeah, people have, that's not my idea. I did borrow that, although I can't remember who I got that from, but I just adore that. And so this is what I mean about the fun, like I have a group on Tuesday nights and it's called the Manifesting Power Hour. And so we get together for 1 hour and then I ask them all, what do you want this week? And then we do a meditation. I take them on a guided journey or something. And then we do some other manifesting techniques where we support each other in what you want. And they come back and tell me the most amazing things that have happened. Like one woman lost her biggest client. 10 days later, she had a new big client. It was like, amazing stuff. Somebody wanted a boyfriend. Just amazing, big things and little things. Sometimes we just focus on, I'm going on a road trip and I don't want any problems. I want it to all be really smooth. And so then we just focus on smooth trip, easy trip, having everything fall into place or whatever. It's for big or little. It's not only for those momentous things, it's for the little everyday things that will make your life happier or sweeter or more enjoyable.
Well, the things you're not focusing on
Yeah.
something bad. You're focusing on creating something good. And you're not focusing on being a victim of whatever it is that you
Yes,
are,
that's
or
correct.
feel you are.
Yeah.
Wow, that's I love the sweetener thing, the sugar
Isn't
thing.
that nice? It's just so nice. It makes you smile. And the last thing we do in that group is we always do a minute for either the country or the earth or Ukraine or wherever the energy is needed. We always spend a minute sending out good vibes somewhere. And I had spoken to this woman who connected with these indigenous grandmothers in spirit. It's called the netoflight.org. Anyway, she talks to all these indigenous spirits, grandmothers who say there's a net of light, which they've said they found with the Hubble telescope somehow. I don't know. Interesting. And the idea is that there's all these points of light anchored to the earth. And so when you want to connect with something bigger than yourself for positive energy to either further anchor it for your town or your state or your country or the world, whatever, there's a net of light that goes around the world anchored with each of us, whoever wants to participate. So anytime you imagine a net of light, like just imagine an actual net and all those little cross points, that's where there's a light. And that's all around the globe. And you can see yourself connect to that. Then you get lit up with that light as well. So you not only contribute to the light, the net of light around the world that's helping the world stay together and heal and whatever, but you will also be uplifted. So this is all the kind of magic that I talk about. And this is what makes it fun.
It's funny every morning when I sit down and I I visualize the earth in my hands.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
I always ask, well, I ask God, to send the earth love and light and healing. And I just put my hands just around the earth, saying love and light and healing, love, light and healing, so that everything will be better, peaceful, more calm.
Yeah.
And I do that I've been doing that, my geez, I think since I was like 30 years old. So it's very
Wow,
long
that's
time.
beautiful.
I'm just waiting for it to take hold.
Well,
But yeah.
there are
Mhm.
I don't know if you I'm trying to remember his name. Lee Carroll channels. I can't remember who. It'll come to me. And he said somebody of magnetic service, Chiron,
Oh,
Kyron.
yes.
Okay. Is it Cryon? Cryon of magnetic service. Kryon. Okay. And he said this is like back in 2014 or 15,
Long
that
time ago.
we only needed to get to 25% light to balance out any darkness. And we had already achieved 26%.
Wow.
And today it's much higher because after COVID,
Hmm.
there was such a massive awakening with people that the light has spread way farther than that. So we are way beyond the point where it doesn't maybe look like that,
But it
but they
is.
said that sometimes the darkness struggles more as it's being diminished.
Yes. Yes.
So, and
It puts up a fight.
puts up a fight. So, for whatever, the idea that we are already over the threshold of what we need for light, to me, is another thing that's thrilling. And anytime I feel down about what's happening, I remember, oh no, we're over the threshold. We're going to be okay. And then sometimes I connect with the net of light or whatever it is. So there's a lot we can do. Not and every one of us matters. Every single one of us. I
Mhm.
was doing this healing with the soul intelligence method with two girlfriends. We were on Zoom and we were doing a group healing. We're like, what do you want to work on today? We said, let's work on the oceans. I'm like, okay. So we're doing what we can, and you use a pendulum and these charts, and the pendulum movement releases things. So all of a sudden I started hearing a voice. Oh, I don't know why I got foggy. That's weird. All right, it's back. So I started hearing a voice. I'm like, who could that be? And I saw like a trident. And I thought, come on, I'm not hearing Poseidon. That's just crazy. So, but anyway, Poseidon or some ocean spirit, I don't know. I'm just telling you that what was said was, don't belittle what you're doing. The fact that you are working to heal the oceans for us, we love that. We appreciate that. Thank you. You matter. What you're doing, the three of you, really matters. And I was like, really? Because sometimes you think, who am I? I'm going to heal the ocean. What are you talking about? But that's the message I heard. So I don't know. I was very excited about that too. So everybody matters.
Well, everybody does, and that's why there is definitely a very, and I've noticed lately a spiritual awakening that's happening. Many years ago, people would think, hypnosis, Reiki, prana healing was woo-woo, and reading self-help books is crazy. But now not everybody, but a lot of people are starting to get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to see. And a lot younger.
Yes. Yes.
A
Gen
lot.
Z. Yep.
Right, the Gen Z, yeah. And I say, wow, I know back in my days, I was always bullied for having intuitive abilities because I could see in advance what would happen. And if
Oh,
I
wow.
told someone, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that because you may get hurt, they would do it anyway, get hurt, and then they hit me because they said it was my fault that they got hurt. But now, people are understanding that people do have that ability just to feel the energy.
Yeah.
And and
It's amazing.
yeah, it's so different than what it was many years ago. And I would always say, God, please let me, be alive to see when this finally comes into play. and I'm so happy that it is, and it's really taking tenfold. So it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's just, to me, it's very exciting to think that we have enough light to do what we need to do. That's awesome.
I know. So let me ask you, I know you have a podcast called Breathe, Love, and Magic.
Yep. Yep.
What themes keep like showing up, for people right now in their spiritual journeys?
That's interesting. Um, I think there is some confusion
Hmm.
out there. A lot of people, what I keep seeing is so many people are talking about everybody's nervous system being overtaxed,
Mhm.
and they're taxing me with this talk of being overtaxed. But apparently, that is a really big thing right now that, people are frazzled by the state of the world, and they
Wow.
feel there's a lot of chaos and stuff like that. And so I think self care is absolutely more important than ever. And that's why we keep getting messages of exploring your joy and making yourself happy, because it's like the counterbalance to the nonsense that's going on in the world. I find that the more people stop tuning into the news every day, the more relaxed they get. Some
Mhm.
people find that very objectionable. So, you have to do what's right for you. But that's definitely something that I've encountered and I do for myself. You will not miss out on anything big that happens. You will hear
Yeah.
it anyway. There's not, I wish I could miss out on some of it, but you're still going to hear it because everybody's around you has heard it. So, um, and I think that there's also some dissatisfaction with working in, not like a lot more people are working for themselves. More and more and more people want to start a business and work for themselves and do good work in the world to help people in whatever way they can. And I think that's certainly since COVID just, majorly mushroomed, right? That's a really big thing too. So the last thing I want to say about this is that, talking about how the energy has sped up. And I do believe that's true. It's not just that I'm older, so time is flying, but I really do believe that the energy has sped up. And my evidence for that is that when I teach people or talk to them about their intuition, they just get it. I studied for 7 years before I really felt like I could tune into my intuition and get an answer. It took a really long time. But today, people just get it. I say, try this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, that worked. It's just like they learn so quickly. And I love to see that.
I think they're more open to it because
Also, yes,
more people are talking about it. Whereas
yes.
back, like in my days, you wouldn't dare say anything because you were afraid that they'd burn you at the stake. You die. But
You're not really that old, Barbara.
no, not really. I'll be 78 this year, and I say to myself, "Ooh, it's getting up there." But yeah, they're definitely more open, and because more and more, podcasts are out there and different books, and you have now so many people doing healing and hypnosis, and all different kinds of modalities that,
Oh, yeah, so many.
yeah, that it's a beautiful thing. I look back and I say, wow, thank you. I know my
Yes.
grandma would always say, one day people will understand. And of course, I would think when I thought, look back, I'd say to myself, "Ah, boy, they just didn't get it, for so many years. But now, um, the energy has shifted. It's changed.
It has changed. Another thing that I've been noticing is overwhelm. And maybe that's similar to that nervous system thing.
Hmm.
But I was never a person that worried about overwhelm because I could handle a lot. But I will tell you that I definitely get overwhelmed now. Like I understand it because I don't really even read my email. I look at the things I have to read and everything else I let sit there or delete, or unsubscribe or whatever. There's just too much to take advantage of. And I see a lot of things. I want to try that. I want to try that. And I'm like, no, calm down. Because I think it's
Uh-huh.
really important to be discerning at this time as well, because you can stretch yourself too thin. And instead of making yourself happy, you'll just be stressed out.
No, there's no doubt in my mind with that one. Yeah, because there's so much information out there that there is information overload.
Yeah, there really is.
And that's why everyone is they want to do so much, but they end up getting nothing done.
I know. And then they feel bad. And it's part of that cycle.
Mhm.
So that's why it's good to be picky. Pick and choose what, three things. And then you have to let the rest go. And maybe you'll get to them another time.
Oh yeah, I know for me doing this podcast is a beautiful thing.
I
So,
love my podcast. I
right?
completely agree. Yes.
Do you use is it weekly or monthly or
Yes, mine is weekly. And I started it, I think the same year as you, maybe what, 2021. So yeah, I've been doing it a long time and it's part of my spiritual journey. I love it because I get to look stuff up and learn and then talk about it,
Yes.
So it's I really enjoy that. Like I did one on talking to angels or all the different angels that I'd never heard of before until I went and looked them all up. Or I did one on light versus dark, who's winning. And one of the things I learned there was I asked AI for help and I said, okay, here are four periods of history: World War One, World War Two, the 14 or 1500s when there was the Black Plague in Europe, and the fall of the Roman Empire, right? Those were the four big things I could think of. And I'm like, which is the worst period in history? And so it said the Black Plague in Europe because such a huge percentage of the population died,
Right.
maybe like 30% or something. Can you imagine how horrible that would be? I mean, COVID was bad enough, but it wasn't 30% of the population. So, and then I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm being, I was curious, well, what was a really bad time? And so forget the things I said. You picked the periods in history or whatever. And it said the worst thing, according to AI, whoever that is, however they decide,
Mm-hmm.
was when the white man came to the United States and killed 90% of the indigenous people. I was
Oh,
like, oh,
gee.
you're right. That is really bad. So that's why in my podcast about light and dark, when everybody's so upset about how bad things are, I'm like, no, things aren't really bad now.
No, they're not.
It's not what we like, maybe. And there are things wrong and broken, no
Mhm.
question. But 30% of the population isn't dying from the Black Plague,
Yeah. And we
you
didn't
know?
kill all those people now. So yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, AI is unbelievable. Um, I don't know. I would assume it gets information from people putting in information. I have no idea how it works.
Well, it scrapes the web for everything. So it has access to everything. They loaded up all the history books and everything is online. So it has access to whatever is online, which is enormous.
Oh yeah.
So initially I was very resistant,
Hmm.
but now I find it can be helpful. I don't rely on it all the time, but it's so good for research. Oh my gosh.
It is. I actually had some blood work done and I feel well, I'm just going to put it in just to see what it says. I was amazed at what it came up with. I mean, thank God everything was good, but it actually said, "Oh, this is good. This is," and I said, "Wow, the doctor didn't take time to, go over this the way this did."
Right,
I,
right.
I was really floored by it. I could not believe how it like broke it all down for me.
Yeah, it is. It can be very amazing. It can also make stuff up. It's a whole combination.
Well, I hope it didn't make anything stuff up for me.
Well,
Uh-huh.
I've been using it for a while and I think it's improved.
Okay. That's what chat. GPT, I
Yeah,
think it
there's
is.
other ones too, but that's probably one of the biggest ones. So yeah, it's it still makes stuff up every once in a while. I catch it. I'm like, excuse me.
I know. You think that's real? Let me ask you, like for my listeners who want to bring more magic into their daily lives, what would be one of the um, practical, simple thing that they can, or mind shift that they can start using today?
Okay. Well, let's see. I told you four of my really good ones. So let me think
Oh,
of
okay.
no, that's okay. I'm sure I can come up with another one. So it's endless amount of creativity and imagination. And your imagination is totally tied into your intuition. So if you can visualize something happening and you can feel what that would feel like in your body. So for whatever you want to bring into your life, if you can picture it and
Mhm.
then take it a step further and feel the emotion, like how does your body feel? How is your breathing? What is your face doing? What does it feel like? Really put yourself in the energy of it if it was true. That is a very powerful method to draw it to you. That of course is the foundation of the law of attraction, but it takes it to step beyond just affirmations, because a lot of people do this writing of the affirmations 33, 66, 99 times or whatever. And you're focusing, but
You can feel
feeling it is the highest level and speaking it is another thing.
it.
So
Mhm.
another thing you can do is say stuff out loud when no one's listening. Like if you're in the car alone, if you're in the shower, whatever it is, say the affirmations, positive statements as if they're happening now. And talk about it to yourself. Talk out loud. This is what neuroscience is saying too. Talk out loud to yourself and say, I am so excited that picnic with all my relatives is coming together and everybody's going to come and everybody's going to be healthy to show up. We're going to have the best food. We're having the best time, and not gonna, but make it all like we're having the best time. Make it all present tense. I made a few errors there, and just start to live it now as if it was happening
Mhm.
now. And that is very powerful, especially when you vocalize it. When you say it out loud, your subconscious mind takes it in. And that's the most important thing, because our subconscious mind is actually running the show, not our regular brain.
Mhm.
And we're not even aware of what's going on in there. So you can purposely send it stuff by talking out loud and feeling how it's going to feel. And that will get in there. So it gets the message. Oh, she wants that. Let's go look for that.
Yeah, because it doesn't know what's real or not real.
Doesn't. No, it doesn't. It can't tell the difference between a dream
Hmm.
or your imagination or what's in reality for you. And it will go get whatever you want. So if you think everything stinks and bad things happen to you all the time and you're not lucky and whatever,
That's what's
then
happening.
your subconscious mind goes to look for that, unfortunately. So that's another thing. You can just talk about how lucky you are. I've seen this thing called Lucky Girl. I just think that's really fun. And you just talk about, I'm so lucky. How did I get so lucky? I'm so lucky to have a wonderful family or a fabulous job, a beautiful home, a wonderful pet, whatever it is, a great man to love or a woman to love or wonderful children, whatever it is. I'm so lucky. If you even just talk to yourself about how lucky you are, that's beautiful. And that changes your energy
Yeah.
and brings more luck in.
Well, it raises the vibration.
Right. Absolutely. Anything you do to raise the vibration is good stuff.
Yeah, big time good stuff. So you've written 6 books.
I have. I was a dating coach for 20 years. And
Oh,
so
okay.
they are all dating books, a variety of different things, from why can't I find love to is he the right man, or how to manifest Mr. Right, or, there's a whole bunch of.
Oh, okay. No spiritual, any spiritual
I
books?
didn't, well, they have spiritual stuff in them, but they aren't just about spirituality. They're about using it for dating. So, Manifesting Mr. Right had all my tools and techniques that I used to find my husband. And I was a dating coach for 20 years, and let me tell you, that
Wow.
stuff still works. It has not changed. It still works. It's still on Amazon.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, wow. I could go on and on here, but where can my listeners get a hold of you? Your energy is just you have beautiful energy, I have to
Oh
tell you that.
my, thank
It's so
you.
light and just well, laughter and joy. But yeah, you have beautiful energy.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
we balance each other because you're beautiful too. So
Oh,
you
well,
can
thank
find
you.
me at intuitiveedge.biz, which is B-I-Z like a boy, B-I-Z. So intuitiveedge.biz. And that's where you can find everything that's not dating.
Okay. Yeah, well, everything will be in the show notes. Anything you want to share, I'll put it in there. And oh boy, Ronnie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
You-
you. It
you-
was such a pleasure. Can I just squeeze one more thing in?
oh,
I have,
yes, you can,
okay,
please.
great. I have a free gift, and it's called how to ask for a sign from the universe and get an answer in 24 hours. It took me a minute to remember. So you're asking for a sign. I tell
Mhm.
you exactly my method to ask for a sign, how you do the whole thing. Super simple. I give 3 examples of how it totally worked for me. And then I tell you how to do it. And then I say how you can get an answer in 24 hours. And some people say, that's kind of fast. Shouldn't I give it more time? You can give it more time if you want, but I'm very impatient. So I made it 24 hours. So anyway, that's at intuitiveedge.biz/sign. So it's right on my website. And it's a
Okay.
free audio program.
Oh, wow. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll put that in the notes also because,
Okay,
and
wonderful.
I'll subscribe to that too. So
Wonderful. Thanks.
I
Barbara,
could
thank you so
probably at
much.
this age, I probably need to do something else. I'm not sure what it is though yet.
Anything you want.
Yep. I just have to figure it out. So, well, thank you so much, Ronnie, for being here today and for sharing your wisdom, your joy, and your beautiful perspective on, what it really means to live a magical, aligned life. And
Thank you.
this conversation has been such a refreshing reminder that spirituality doesn't have to be heavy. It can
No.
be filled with joy, it can be playful and deeply transformative. And to everyone listening today, I invite you to take a moment and ask yourself, where could I invite more joy, possibility, and laughter into my life right now? And sometimes the smallest shift in perspective opens the biggest door. So if you'd like to learn more about Ronnie Ann Ryan, explore her website and her podcast, Breathe, Love, and Magic, and be sure to check today's show. All the notes and the links will be there. And as always, remember to protect your energy, trust your intuition, and allow joy to lead the way. And thank you for listening today to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. And I'm sending you lots of love, light, and a little magic. Until next time, love, Barbara.